In this exercise, you will create a simple plan layout of a space using walls, windows, and door objects built into the Revit software. You will only use some basic tools, as this will be a simple exercise. So let's start the exercise. Once you launch the Revit software, you'll want to create a new Revit model file. So click here on New. You will then be presented with a dialog box which allows you to choose the template file that you wish to begin with. I'm going to click on Browse. I just want to verify here that I'm in fact using a US template. Sometimes you'll have many different types of templates installed in your Revit installation. I'm going to click here on Default, which is the equivalent of clicking on the architectural template there. So I'll click on OK. So you come into now the main Revit interface, and besides all the user interface options or items here that you see, you'll see your main drawing area. And in the main drawing area, you'll see these rectangular objects with arrows pointing towards the center. You'll want to draw your floor plan in this main area. So let's start drawing a few basic walls. I'm going to go here to the Architecture tab and click on the down arrow here in the Wall tool. And I'll select here Architectural Wall. Once you select that wall, you'll see here in the Properties panel that Revit will show you Basic Wall Generic 8 inches. This is the default setting. What we want to do before we start drawing this default wall is we'll want to change here the location line. So we don't want to draw via a center line. We actually want to draw this wall using the Finish Face Exterior. So we'll click on that. So I'll start here roughly in the lower left-hand area of my drawing area, and I'll click, and I'll start drawing a wall vertically. And you'll see here that Revit's going to snap to the vertical at some point. And what I want to do is I want to actually draw this wall 36 feet. Now, typically Revit is going to default to feet, so I just need to type 36 and press enter. Then I'm going to draw a horizontal wall, which is 12, and go along and finish this. And kind of zoom in here so I know that I'm drawing a nice horizontal wall that ends roughly on the corner, and you can see that it's all cleaned up. I'll hit escape a couple times to get out of the wall tool. Let's go ahead and select the wall tool again, but this time what we're going to do is click on this down arrow, and you'll see here we have a whole bunch of different wall types available. We're going to choose again something very simple. We're going to choose here a generic 6-inch wall. And what I'd like to do is this time I'd like to draw via the center line. I'd like to draw a few walls here that will separate this rectangular space. And we'll just do these approximately for the time being, and then we'll refine them a little bit with some dimensions later. There we go. Hit escape to get out of the walls tool. So now we're going to go back and refine some of the dimensions for the spaces that we've created here. So I'm going to click on this wall, and I wanted you to note here the dimension that we have. This is called a temporary dimension, and it looks like I've placed it very well, I wanted exactly this dimension. Let's check here the lower one. I see this was a little bit off, so what I'm going to do this time is change this to 12. So that's what we want actually in both of these dimensions. So if this one up here was not 12, change it to 12. And this one, of course, you want changed to 12 as well. Let's check here the interior or this smaller horizontal wall. And I can see that these are the same, so I don't really need to change anything. Now, one thing I want you to note is whenever you want to change a wall's position using these temporary dimensions, you have to have that wall selected. That's the wall of interest, and that's the wall that will be changed. So I'd like to now move on here and change this wall. This time, rather than using the default location of these temporary dimensions, I want to move them. So I'm actually going to click on this little circular grip here until you see it snaps to a different location. In this case, it's snapped to the interior, but you can continue to do this and it'll jump from center to interior or exterior face. Do the same thing here. And now I see that this is how I would like it, and I'd like to change this now to 3 feet 6. So type 3 feet 6 and press enter, and the wall will be located such that the clear space here is 3 foot 6.